Friends, if you want to watch the super hit animated movie Ratatouille, 2007, in English, then you must like this video. And if you are visiting our channel for the first time, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon for more amazing videos. Friends, in today's video, we are going to talk about one of Pixar's most loved films, Ratatouille, 2007. We will cover everything you need to know about this movie, what the film is about, where you can watch it, and some of the most interesting behind-the-scenes facts. In this video, I will also tell you on which OTT platform or satellite TV channel you can currently watch this film. Along with that, we'll dive deep into the movie's technical aspects, including animation style, voice performances, pre-production, post-production, music, and even the film's budget and box office collection. We'll also talk about the storyline of the movie, give you a short review, and share our thoughts on the performances of the voice cast and which character has been voiced by which actor. So friends, I request you to watch this video till the end, because you won't want to miss all these fun and fascinating details about Ratatouille. Ratatouille, 2007, Plot and Narrative Analysis. From a narrative perspective, Ratatouille, 2007, directed by Brad Bird and produced by Pixar Animation Studios, follows a mostly conventional three-act structure, but it's told through a unique perspective, that of a rat, which immediately sets it apart from standard storytelling norms in animated films. The plot is rich with character development, layered themes, and emotional stakes, while also serving as a subtle commentary on passion, creativity, and self-worth. Act 1. Setup and Introduction to the World. The story begins in the French countryside where we meet Remy, a young rat who is different from the rest of his colony. Unlike his father Dango and the other rats who are satisfied with eating garbage, Remy has a refined sense of smell and a deep appreciation for the art of cooking. He idolizes the famous chef Auguste Gusteau, who famously said, "Anyone can cook." The film opens with a news report announcing the death of Gusteau and the decline of his once-renowned Parisian restaurant, setting the tone for themes of loss, legacy, and redemption. Remy's talent for detecting flavors and his disinterest in eating scraps create tension with his family. His conflict with the colony escalates when he tries to sneak into a house for ingredients and ends up separated from them. Lost and alone, Remy follows the spirit of Gusteau, a figment of his imagination, to the rooftops of Paris and ultimately finds himself at Gusteau's restaurant. This introduction cleverly balances exposition and visual storytelling, using Remy's internal voice and Gusteau's ghost as narrative devices to externalize his thoughts and guide the audience through his journey. Act 2. Conflict, Dual Lives and Rising Tension. Inside the restaurant, Remy witnesses Linguini, a clumsy garbage boy, accidentally ruin a soup. Unable to resist, Remy fixes the soup, which is accidentally served to a food critic and surprisingly well received. Linguini is blamed and then praised for the soup, forcing him to recreate it. Eventually, he discovers Remy and the two form a secret partnership. Remy hides under Linguini's chef hat and controls his movements by pulling his hair. This introduces the central gimmick of the story, but it's more than a comedic device. It represents the symbiotic relationship between talent and opportunity. Remy has the culinary skills but no access to the human world. Linguini has access, but no skill. Together, they create something neither could achieve alone. As their partnership deepens, complications arise. Linguini is promoted to chef. Remy is torn between loyalty to his family and his passion for cooking. Linguini develops a romantic relationship with Colette, the only female chef in the kitchen. Remy's colony discovers his new lifestyle and wants to benefit from it. This act also introduces Anton, the intimidating food critic, who acts as the symbolic antagonist, representing elitism and harsh judgment. His disdain for Gusteau's philosophy becomes a looming threat. Act 3. Climax, Revelation and Resolution. Tensions reach a breaking point when the truth is revealed. Remy is the real chef, and Linguini, overwhelmed and insecure, publicly fails. Remy is captured by the head chef, Skinner, but later escapes with the help of his colony. Linguini, now humbled, apologizes and offers his full trust to Remy. In a powerful climax, the rats take over the kitchen, each playing a role in preparing the final meal for Anton. Remy prepares ratatouille, a simple peasant dish, but cooked with such elegance that it brings Ego to tears, reminding him of his mother's cooking. It's one of the most emotionally resonant scenes in the film, emphasizing that great food and great art connects deeply to memory and emotion, not just complexity or pedigree. Ego writes a glowing review but loses his job for praising a dish made by a rat. The restaurant is shut down due to health violations, but Ego funds a new small bistro run by Remy, Linguini, and Colette, La Ratatouille, where both humans and rats can share their love of food. Narrative techniques and emotional impact. Perspective. Telling the story from a rat's point of view offers both humor and depth. It challenges viewers' assumptions about who belongs in certain spaces, especially elite ones like a French kitchen. Themes. The movie explores identity, prejudice, the definition of talent, and the democratization of creativity. Anyone can cook. Emotional arcs. Remy's journey from outsider to accepted artist is universal and moving. The relationship between Remy and Linguini also evolves from mutual dependence to deep friendship. Non-linear elements. The film opens with a flash-forward-style news report about Gusteau's death, then rewinds to tell Remy's story, a small deviation from linear storytelling that adds intrigue. Conclusion. Ratatouille, 2007, delivers a heartfelt, clever, and inspiring narrative through its rich character arcs, carefully structured plot, and nuanced emotional beats. It may follow a traditional three-act format, but its execution is anything but ordinary. By placing an unlikely hero in an elite culinary world, the film invites viewers to reconsider who gets to create, to lead, and to be remembered. The result is a story that's not only entertaining but deeply affirming. Ratatouille, 2007, plot and narrative, in-depth analysis. Clapperboard narrative structure overview. Pixar's Ratatouille is structured around a classic three-act format, but innovates with perspective, setting, and emotional layering. The film's protagonist is a rat, a creature typically vilified in kitchens. And through this unexpected lens, director Brad Bird delivers a story about ambition, artistry, and identity. Act I, introduction to characters, world, and conflict. Setting the stage. The film opens with a television report announcing the death of Chef Auguste Gusteau, the celebrated author of the cookbook Anyone Can Cook. The tone is nostalgic, almost mournful, hinting at a legacy in decline. This immediately introduces the theme of greatness lost, a thread that will resonate throughout the narrative. Remy's dual nature. We are introduced to Remy, a rat with two worlds tugging at him. The instinctive world of his rat colony, where survival trumps luxury, and the human culinary world, which inspires his passion. Remy's refined sense of smell and deep admiration for gourmet cuisine mark him as an outsider, not just among humans, but also among his own kind. His inner conflict, am I just a rat, or am I something more? Is the central emotional struggle. The ghostly image of Gusteau becomes a symbolic mentor, acting as a narrative tool that externalizes Remy's conscience and artistic hunger. Inciting incident. When Remy is separated from his family after being flushed into the sewers, he emerges in Paris and discovers that he has landed near Gusteau's restaurant. This discovery sets the plot in motion and answers his earlier longing with a concrete opportunity. This act is a classic hero's call to adventure, where the protagonist steps into a new world that mirrors their dreams but challenges their limits. Act 2. The dual identity and rising conflict. The unlikely alliance. Inside the restaurant, Remy secretly improves a soup that Alfredo Linguini, a new and unskilled garbage boy, accidentally ruins. This act gains attention and marks the beginning of their partnership. Linguini and Remy develop a peculiar system where the rat hides under his hat and controls his body like a marionette by pulling on strands of hair, a creative and comical representation of shared talent and dependency. Their bond introduces the theme of collaboration between the unseen and the unrecognized. Linguini is the face, but Remy is the brain. It's a dynamic that mirrors real-world creative industries, where the visionary often hides behind the performer. Conflict layers intensify. The second act introduces more obstacles. Chef Skinner, the antagonist, seeks to uncover Linguini's secret while attempting to exploit Gusteau's brand. Linguini's growing fame begins to strain his relationship with Remy. Colette, the tough female chef and Linguini's love interest, represents both opportunity and emotional complication. Remy's torn loyalty between his new human world and his rat family, who find him and want to benefit from his access to food. Remy begins stealing food for his colony, which symbolizes how art and commerce can clash. He is burdened with guilt, secrecy, and divided loyalties. Anton Ego, symbol of judgment. Meanwhile, the food critic Anton Ego lurks as a metaphorical force rather than a traditional villain. Cold, elitist, and cynical, he represents institutional gatekeeping, those who define who belongs and who doesn't in the world of high art. The narrative stakes are raised when it is revealed that Linguini is Gusteau's son, making him the heir to the restaurant. This further threatens Skinner, who intensifies his efforts to sabotage the duo. Act 3. Climax, revelation, and resolution. Betrayal and rock bottom. After Remy's secret is exposed due to internal tension and Skinner's scheming, Linguini reacts by pushing Remy away. This results in Remy being captured and the kitchen descending into chaos. The hero is at his lowest point. The kitchen staff quits, Linguini is helpless, and Remy is imprisoned. This dark moment is critical in narrative structure. It's the classic all is lost beat. It tests Remy's commitment to his passion and to his friends. Turning point and redemption. Remy escapes and returns, and Linguini offers a sincere apology, trusting him fully. What follows is a brilliant and emotionally resonant climax. As Anton Ego visits the restaurant expecting mediocrity, Remy decides to serve ratatouille, a simple, peasant dish. But it's crafted with such precision and soul that it triggers Ego's childhood memory of his mother's cooking. This moment is a narrative payoff, the emotional gut punch where theme and plot merge seamlessly. This scene illustrates the power of simplicity in art, the importance of emotional authenticity over technical complexity. That creativity can come from the most unexpected places. Ego's transformation and the aftermath. Ego writes a glowing review, openly declaring that not everyone can become a great artist, but a great artist can come from anywhere. However, this praise gets the restaurant shut down by health inspectors due to the discovery of rats. In a poetic twist, Ego loses his job, but finds purpose. He helps fund a new bistro, La Ratatouille, where humans and rats live in harmony, symbolizing acceptance, progress, and the embrace of difference. Narrative devices and techniques. Perspective. Telling the story from Remy's point of view, a rat, challenges audience expectations and confronts societal prejudices. The camera angles, scale shifts, and kinetic animation give viewers a rat's eye view of the kitchen, blending empathy and wonder. Repeat button repetition and symbolism. Gusteau's phrase "anyone can cook" is repeated, challenged, and ultimately redefined. It evolves from a slogan to a manifesto of inclusivity. Food as a symbol of memory, identity, and connection is recurring. The use of Gusteau's ghost reflects Remy's inner dialogue and conscience. Performing art's emotional arc. Every character undergoes transformation. Remy learns to balance ambition with loyalty. Linguini matures from insecure boy to confident leader. Colette opens herself to vulnerability. Ego shifts from arrogance to humility. Conclusion: why it works. The brilliance of Ratatouille lies not just in its plot but in how it marries theme with story, emotion with action, and character with symbolism. It is a story about creativity from unexpected sources, the conflict between art and society, challenging elitism in favor of authenticity, the power of food to bring people and rats together. It's an underdog story, a food film, a character drama, and a philosophical fable, all told through the most unlikely narrator imaginable, a rat in a chef's hat. Ratatouille, 2007, Character Development Analysis. Ratatouille, 2007, directed by Brad Bird and produced by Pixar Animation Studios, is not just an animated film about a rat who wants to cook. It's a richly laid character-driven story that explores identity, ambition, acceptance, and the transformative power of art. The strength of the film lies in its deep, multidimensional characters, all of whom experience growth, conflict, and resolution in emotionally authentic ways. Mouseface Remy, the visionary outsider. Initial state. Remy begins as an outsider not only in the human world but also within his own rat colony. While his peers are content eating scraps and garbage, Remy is drawn to the artistry of food. Inspired by the late chef Auguste Gusteau, he has a refined palate, a curious mind, and an obsessive passion for cooking. Remy's development arc is rooted in his internal conflict. Should he embrace his identity as a rat and remain loyal to his family, or follow his heart and pursue his passion in a world that would never accept him? Transformation. As the story unfolds, Remy is forced to live a double life, secretly preparing gourmet meals in a Parisian restaurant while hiding his true identity. Through his partnership with Linguini, he begins to realize the value of collaboration, trust, and emotional connection. His journey is also marked by betrayal, guilt, and ultimately, self-acceptance. By the end of the film, Remy is no longer hiding. He is the chef of his own kitchen, supported by both humans and rats, having forged a new space where he can belong as himself. Narrative role. Remy represents the archetype of the creative dreamer. His development arc encapsulates the film's central theme. A great artist can come from anywhere. Man hashtag frying pan with egg Alfredo Linguini, the insecure everyman. Initial state. Linguini enters the story as a bumbling, insecure garbage boy with no direction in life. He lacks skill, self-belief, and any real ambition. However, he is also kind-hearted, sincere, and eager to find meaning. His early dependence on Remy reflects his fear of failure and his inability to stand on his own. His thrust into a world where he doesn't belong, gaining praise and promotion not through merit but through deception, albeit reluctantly. Transformation. Throughout the film, Linguini gradually becomes more confident and begins to assert himself. His relationship with Remy is tested when fame gets to his head, but he later experiences humility and growth after their fallout. He acknowledges Remy's genius and willingly steps aside, allowing Remy to take the culinary lead. This act of humility and respect marks his transformation from a passive participant to a mature, supportive friend and partner. Narrative role. Linguini's arc reflects the journey from insecurity to authenticity. He learns that success is hollow without honesty, and that true leadership involves trust and collaboration. Place setting Colette to 2, the tough professional with a soft core. Initial state. Colette is the only woman in Gusteau's kitchen, tough, disciplined, and fiercely protective of her position. Having had to fight for her place in a male-dominated industry, she's initially skeptical of Linguini and wary of his clumsy behavior. She's portrayed as highly competent, by the book, and cynical about Gusteau's ideals. Transformation. As Colette observes Linguini's apparent improvement, she grows curious and begins to soften. When she discovers the truth about Remy, she's shocked, but chooses to return and help him out of respect for his cooking talent and artistic spirit. Her character doesn't undergo a complete overhaul, but she transitions from rigid professionalism to open-minded supportiveness, suggesting that true artistry can transcend prejudice and protocol. Narrative role. Colette is the voice of reason and realism, but her eventual embrace of Remy's vision symbolizes the triumph of talent and passion over tradition and cynicism. Anton Ego, the elite critic redeemed. Initial state. Anton Ego is introduced as a cold, feared food critic whose review once ruined Gusteau's career. He is the embodiment of elitism, judgment, and intellectual arrogance. He doesn't believe in Gusteau's famous motto "anyone can cook," and sees himself as the gatekeeper of quality. He lives in a dark, coffin-shaped room, eats alone, and speaks with cutting precision. He represents the establishment's resistance to change and outsider creativity. Transformation. Ego's pivotal moment arrives when he tastes Remy's ratatouille. The dish sends him into a flashback of his childhood, where food was not about prestige but love and comfort. This scene is one of the most emotionally impactful in the film. Afterward, Ego writes a glowing, humble review, acknowledging that greatness can indeed come from the most unlikely places. He loses his reputation but gains a deeper understanding of food, art, and humanity. Narrative role. Ego serves as a catalyst for the film's thematic message. His transformation proves that even the most entrenched beliefs can be overturned through genuine experience. He's a mirror to the audience, challenging them to examine their own biases. Frying pan with egg Chef Skinner, the greedy antagonist. Initial state. Skinner is the head chef at Gusteau's, driven not by culinary passion but by profit. He wants to capitalize on the Gusteau brand by launching a line of frozen foods. He's paranoid, controlling, and threatened by Linguini's rise. Role in the narrative. While Skinner is a more traditional antagonist, he serves as a foil to Remy. Where Remy wants to create art, Skinner wants to sell a product. His downfall highlights the triumph of authenticity over commercial exploitation. Unlike other characters, Skinner does not evolve. He remains static, symbolizing the kind of corruption and greed that the story ultimately rejects. Rat Dango, the protective father. Initial state. Dango, Remy's father, is pragmatic and cautious. He doesn't understand Remy's love for humans or his obsession with cooking. He wants to protect his son from a world that sees rats as vermin. Transformation. Over time, Dango begins to appreciate Remy's talent and convictions. During the climax, he rallies the rat colony to help Remy run the restaurant, a symbolic passing of the torch and a recognition of Remy's unique path. Narrative role. Dango represents tradition and family, but he is not immovable. His eventual support shows that understanding can bridge even the widest generational or cultural gaps. Medium White Star conclusion, a masterclass in character arcs. Every main character in Ratatouille undergoes meaningful change, shaped by internal and external conflicts. Their arcs intersect in a way that enhances the film's central themes. Remy learns to embrace who he is and assert his creative voice. Linguini transforms from an imposter to a loyal, confident friend. Colette opens herself to unconventional inspiration. Ego discovers humility and emotional truth. Dango learns to support his son's dreams. Skinner, by contrast, remains unchanged and is left behind. The film's brilliance lies in its ability to deliver rich, layered character development within an animated format, proving once again that Pixar stories are as much for adults as they are for children. Ratatouille, 2007, Performances Analysis. Although Ratatouille, 2007, is an animated film, its emotional power and believability rely heavily on the strength of its voice performances. Directed by Brad Bird, the film features a carefully selected cast whose vocal talents bring depth, humor, and humanity to both its human and non-human characters. Pixar has always been known for its masterful casting in animation, and Ratatouille is no exception. The voice actors don't merely read lines. They embody their roles, crafting identities that feel rich, nuanced, and deeply human, even in the form of rats and critics. Patton Oswalt as Remy, a masterstroke in casting. Medium white star performance overview. Patton Oswalt, a stand-up comedian and actor known for his wit and sincerity, delivers a career-defining vocal performance as Remy, the film's protagonist. His casting was unconventional at the time, but ultimately perfect for the character of a rat who dreams of becoming a chef. Performing arts emotional range. Oswalt's voice brings a mixture of youthful energy, wide-eyed wonder, and inner conflict to Remy. Whether expressing joy at discovering Paris, frustration at hiding in the shadows, or while preparing a gourmet meal, Oswalt's tone is layered with vulnerability and conviction. He also nails the comedic timing essential for Remy's interactions with Linguini and the other rats, but it's the moments of introspection, particularly when Remy questions who he is and where he belongs, that truly elevate the performance. His ability to convey hope, disappointment, and courage makes Remy feel like a fully fleshed-out character. Trophy impact. Oswalt's grounded performance anchors the film, making a talking rat not only believable but deeply relatable. His voice performance is the emotional spine of Ratatouille. Man #frying pan with egg Lou Romano as Alfredo Linguini, clumsy charm and heart. Medium white star performance overview. Lou Romano, a Pixar storyboard artist and actor, voices Linguini, the awkward and nervous garbage boy who becomes Remy's cooking partner. While not a traditional actor, Romano's naturalistic performance perfectly captures Linguini's uncertainty and innocence. Performing arts emotional range. Romano's voice work balances goofy awkwardness with a genuine sweetness that makes Linguini lovable rather than just comic relief. His nervous energy and hesitant delivery feel authentic to a character trying to find his place in a world far above his skill level. His chemistry with Patton Oswalt's Remy is crucial. Through stammering dialogue, exclamations, and heartfelt apologies, Romano conveys growth from insecurity to quiet confidence. Trophy impact. Romano's performance enhances the character's believability. It's not a showy role, but it's deeply human, allowing audiences to root for a clumsy underdog who slowly matures. Place-setting Janine Garofalo as Colette, strong and subtle. Medium white star performance overview. Janine Garofalo, typically known for her deadpan comedic style, completely transforms her voice for the role of Colette Tattoo, the only female chef in Gusteau's kitchen. With a flawless French accent, she adds authenticity and attitude to a character who could have easily become a cliché. Performing arts emotional range. Garofalo infuses Colette with grit, intelligence, and restrained emotion. Her sharp, no-nonsense tone dominates early scenes, but she gradually reveals a softer, supportive side as her character opens up to Linguini and Remy. The balance between toughness and tenderness is where Garofalo's performance shines. She creates a character who is both formidable and deeply empathetic, especially in the scenes where she mentors Linguini or chooses to stand by Remy. Trophy impact. Garofalo's voice gives Colette depth and realism, grounding the kitchen environment in credibility and emotional texture. Her performance enhances the film's feminist undercurrent without ever feeling forced. #Peter O'Toole as Anton Ego, a voice of power and poetry. Medium white star performance overview. Legendary actor Peter O'Toole lends his unmistakable, aristocratic voice to Anton Ego, the feared food critic. With a chillingly articulate delivery, O'Toole turns Ego into more than a mere antagonist. He becomes a symbol of elitism, pride, and artistic judgment. Performing arts emotional range. O'Toole's performance is icy, precise, and commanding, evoking a sense of intimidation in every word. But when Ego tastes Remy's ratatouille and is emotionally transported to his childhood, O'Toole's voice shifts, softens, and expresses profound vulnerability and nostalgia. His reading of Ego's final review is a performance in itself, philosophical, humble, and eloquent. It adds poetic gravitas to the film's closing moments and cements Ego as a fully realized character who undergoes a deep transformation. Trophy impact. O'Toole's vocal performance adds a Shakespearean weight to the story. He elevates Ego from a standard villain into a philosophical foil, making his redemption all the more powerful. Hashtag frying pan with egg Ian Holm as Chef Skinner, menacing and comedic. Medium white star performance overview. Ian Holm, known for his dramatic and genre-defining roles, surprises audiences with his hilarious and energetic performance as Chef Skinner, the film's scheming antagonist. Performing arts emotional range. Holmes' Skinner is a whirlwind of exaggerated French bravado, paranoia, and comic villainy. He manages to be both funny and threatening, often within the same scene. His vocal inflections are theatrical without being over the top, perfectly suiting the tone of an animated film. His scenes, particularly when he's suspicious of Linguini or chasing Remy, are packed with frantic energy and physical comedy translated perfectly through voice. Trophy impact. Holm gives Skinner a memorable presence, making him a compelling obstacle for Remy and Linguini. His performance adds narrative momentum and contrast to the film's more emotional moments. Boy supporting cast, solid, complementary performances. Brian Dennehy as Dango, Remy's father, brings warmth and gravitas to the role of a protective, practical parent. His deep voice adds realism and emotional grounding. Brad Garrett as Gusteau delivers with a theatrical charm and optimism, despite being a figment of Remy's imagination. Will Arnott as Horst and John Ratzenberger as Mustafa offer comic relief and spice up the ensemble with small but memorable performances. Bullseye conclusion, a masterclass in voice acting. Ratatouille benefits enormously from its well-cast, nuanced voice performances, which do far more than deliver dialogue. Each actor breathes life into their character with a unique tone, rhythm, and emotional palette, contributing to the film's overall believability and emotional depth. Whether it's Patton Oswalt's impassioned sincerity, Peter O'Toole's philosophical gravitas, or Janeane Garofalo's fierce warmth, every voice performance in Ratatouille enhances the story's themes of inclusion, creativity, and transformation. It's a testament to Pixar's brilliance that an animated film about a rat in a kitchen delivers performances more authentic, layered, and impactful than many live-action films. Ratatouille, 2007, voice performances in exhaustive detail. Pixar's Ratatouille, 2007, is a landmark in animation not only because of its storytelling and visual artistry, but also due to the extraordinary voice performances that breathe life into its diverse cast of characters. Voice acting in animation is often underappreciated, but in this film, the emotional credibility, humor, and humanity of the story rest entirely on the performances of its cast. Every actor involved contributes not just a voice, but a distinct soul, rhythm, and emotional arc to their character. Mouseface Patton Oswalt as Remy, the soul of the film. Speaker with 3 sound waves, vocal tone, and emotional texture. Patton Oswalt delivers a layered, deeply resonant performance as Remy, the film's central character. His casting was unconventional. Pixar chose Oswalt after hearing his passionate food-themed stand-up comedy, recognizing his ability to blend humor with heartfelt sincerity. Oswalt's voice is instantly relatable, a blend of enthusiasm, anxiety, wit, and quiet strength. He articulates Remy's inner world in a way that feels emotionally transparent without being melodramatic. His early lines, where he dreams of. His comedic timing is sharp, but he never slips into caricature, which is crucial for grounding an animated rat in human emotional reality. Psychological depth. Oswalt makes Remy feel multidimensional, voicing not only external expressions but internal struggles. When Remy speaks to the imagined Gusteau, Oswalt modulates his tone to reflect inner conflict. You can hear Remy's longing, his frustration, his idealism, and his guilt, all in a single sentence. Bullseye contribution to the narrative. Without Oswalt's sincere, detailed performance, the film's central theme, anyone can cook, would feel hollow. He makes Remy not just a dreamer, but a revolutionary, inspiring both the audience and the characters around him. His voice anchors the entire film. Frying pan with egg Lou Romano as Alfredo Linguini, nervous energy and authentic charm. Speaker with 3 sound waves, naturalism in performance. Lou Romano, an artist rather than a professional actor, was cast for his natural, unpolished vocal tone, which fits the insecure and clumsy Linguini perfectly. His voice carries a boyishness, a nervous unpredictability that reflects Linguini's discomfort in high-pressure situations. Romano's performance avoids traditional comedic exaggeration. Instead, he gives Linguini a believable awkwardness. His stammers and vocal tics during tense scenes feel unscripted. His joyous outbursts when Remy helps him succeed are full of genuine delight. In scenes of failure or fear, Romano taps into fragility, reinforcing Linguini as a character the audience wants to root for. Performing art's emotional arc through voice. As the film progresses and Linguini gains confidence, Romano subtly changes the character's vocal delivery. He speaks more clearly, more assuredly, and with increasing conviction, especially when he defends Remy at the climax. This evolution feels organic and supports the coming-of-age arc of a character discovering his purpose. Bullseye impact on the story. Linguini's voice isn't commanding, but that's the point. Romano's restraint allows the surrounding characters to shine while still making Linguini emotionally compelling and essential to Remy's journey. Place-setting Janine Garofalo as Colette, power, precision, and grace. Performing art's complete voice transformation. Janine Garofalo is virtually unrecognizable in the role of Colette. Adopting a convincing French accent, she voices a character who is both intimidating and empathetic, bringing balance to a male-dominated kitchen. Garofalo modulates her voice to reflect firmness when instructing others in the kitchen, cynicism and sarcasm when dealing with male colleagues, or the idea of Gusteau's anyone-can-cook philosophy. Genuine warmth and surprise when she slowly opens up to Linguini and, later, Remy. Microphone-led performance. She never overplays the tough woman trope. Her tone remains professional, but with subtle vulnerability, especially in scenes where she questions her role or when she realizes she wants to help Remy. Bullseye narrative function. Garofalo's performance makes Colette multidimensional, not just a skilled chef, but a mentor, a skeptic-turned-believer, and a bridge between tradition and innovation in the culinary world. #Peter O'Toole as Anton Ego, elegance, authority, and transformation. Microphone a voice like a cathedral. Peter O'Toole's legendary status brings gravitas to the role of Anton Ego, the icy food critic. His voice is measured, slow, and deliberate, creating a sense of menace with every syllable. His articulation is pristine, as though each word is plated like a fine dish. Early in the film, O'Toole's delivery is ruthlessly intellectual, almost disdainful. When he tastes Remy's ratatouille and is emotionally overwhelmed, his voice softens to near silence. This contrast is stunning and deeply moving. Fountain pen the review monologue. His final monologue, where Ego reflects on the role of criticism and the humility of true greatness, is one of the most eloquent, poetic speeches in animation history. O'Toole's delivery makes it unforgettable. His performance elevates the movie from children's entertainment to profound storytelling. Bullseye narrative role. O'Toole's performance turns a cold critic into the film's philosophical heart. He embodies the ultimate transformation, arrogance humbled by art. Man #frying pan with Ian Holm as Chef Skinner, frenzied, funny, and unhinged. Cyclone energetic villainy. Ian Holm injects his role as Chef Skinner with manic energy and unpredictability. He doesn't go for subtlety. Instead, his voice bounces between false authority, paranoia, and explosive outrage, creating a comedic antagonist with depth. His exaggerated French accent enhances the caricature, but Holm still imbues Skinner with real menace. His frustration with Linguini and obsession with power are portrayed through rapid speech patterns and vocal outbursts, giving Skinner a unique rhythm. Bullseye purpose in the film. Holm's over-the-top delivery balances the emotional weight of the rest of the film with high-energy tension and comic relief. His scenes drive the narrative forward while grounding the stakes in the world of competitive cuisine. Man #boy supporting cast highlights. Brad Garrett as Auguste Gusteau. Gusteau appears as a figment of Remy's imagination, so Garrett voices him with theatrical warmth and wisdom. His delivery is poetic, charming, and full of optimism, perfect for a guiding spirit. Brian Dennehy as Dango, Remy's father. Dennehy brings gruff authority and paternal concern to the role. His tone carries weight, reminding Remy, and the audience, of the danger rats face in the human world. In the film's emotional climax, his change of tone from caution to support reinforces the film's message of acceptance and understanding. John Ratzenberger as Mustafa. In his traditional Pixar cameo, Ratzenberger's role is small but impactful. His delivery as the head waiter is filled with professional polish and comic timing. Why these performances matter. In Ratatouille, the voice actors don't merely serve the plot, they elevate it. They make abstract themes, creativity, ambition, elitism, belonging, viscerally real. They craft characters that audiences remember not just visually, but vocally. They balance humor, philosophy, action, and emotion seamlessly through voice. Checkered flag final verdict, a voice acting triumph. Ratatouille showcases one of the most perfectly cast ensembles in modern animation. From Patton Oswalt's heartfelt sincerity to Peter O'Toole's refined gravity, each actor enriches their character with emotional complexity and sonic identity. The performances don't just bring the story to life, they give it flavor, texture, and soul, just like the finest dish in a five-star restaurant. Ratatouille, 2007, direction by Brad Bird, a masterclass in animated storytelling. Brad Bird, already celebrated for his work on The Iron Giant and The Incredibles, brought a distinct narrative elegance and cinematic sophistication to Ratatouille, 2007, a film that, under lesser direction, could have remained a quirky tale about a cooking rat. Instead, Bird elevated it into a nuanced, emotionally resonant, and visually poetic cinematic experience, blending slapstick with subtle philosophy, and spectacle with intimacy. His direction is both technically masterful and thematically rich, shaping Ratatouille into one of Pixar's most refined works. Performing art's tone and mood, whimsy anchored in emotional realism. Brad Bird balances the fantastical premise of a rat who cooks with a grounded, human emotional tone. This tonal harmony is one of the film's greatest achievements. The mood is whimsical without ever being juvenile. Bird crafts a Paris that feels romantic, magical, yet lived in, avoiding fairytale cliches. Moments of introspection and vulnerability, like Remy's monologues with Gusteau's ghost or Ego's emotional awakening, are handled with sensitivity, allowing the story to breathe and reflect. At the same time, kinetic chase scenes and comic kitchen chaos inject energy, ensuring the film remains brisk and accessible for younger audiences. Bird's control of tone ensures that the film never veers into sentimentality or slapstick excess. The film feels smart and universal, speaking to both children and adults with genuine emotion, wit, and thematic maturity. Movie camera visual storytelling and stylistic choices. Place-setting Paris as a character. Brad Bird, alongside production designer Harley Jessup and cinematographer Sharon Callahan, renders Paris with dreamlike beauty and textural depth. Rain-drenched rooftops, warm kitchen interiors, and golden twilight skies make the city feel like a painting, but always authentically alive. The camera often moves with fluid grace, capturing the majesty of food, the scale of the city, and the intimacy of personal moments. Film cinematic techniques in animation. Bird brings live-action sensibility into animated filmmaking. Low-angle shots give Remy's world scale, making simple journeys across the floor feel epic. Depth of field is used creatively to focus attention, such as blurring humans while highlighting the rat's reactions. The editing rhythm adapts based on the scene, tight and frantic during kitchen sequences, loose and lyrical during reflective moments. POV shots from Remy's perspective immerse viewers in his world, helping them empathize with an otherwise implausible protagonist. These choices underscore Bird's belief that animation is not a genre, but a medium capable of artistic subtlety on par with live-action film. Stopwatch pacing, elegance in narrative momentum. The film's pacing is a triumph of balance. It begins with quiet wonder and discovery, following Remy's journey from the countryside to Paris. As Remy and Linguini's partnership grows, the narrative tempo quickens, especially in the kitchen scenes, which are orchestrated with balletic precision. Just when the story threatens to become formulaic, Bird injects emotional and narrative twists. Linguini's identity crisis, the father-son tension, Ego's review, all of which deepen the plot without slowing it down. Each act ends with a natural emotional crescendo, and the final third, the climax involving Ego's meal and review, feels earned, profound, and deeply satisfying. Thematic direction. Anyone can cook as philosophical core. Brad Bird infuses the story with philosophical undertones. The idea that greatness can come from anywhere is portrayed not as a slogan but as a narrative thesis, constantly tested by character and conflict. Bird avoids heavy-handed delivery. Instead, through Remy's struggle, Linguini's insecurity, Colette's skepticism, and Ego's transformation, the film explores class, creativity, elitism, and self-worth in a subtle, emotionally grounded way. Bird treats the audience as intelligent, allowing them to engage with the themes without oversimplification or spoon-feeding. Family Man Boy Boy character-driven direction. Brad Bird's strength lies in directing character-driven animation. He ensures that each character has a clear arc, e.g., Remy evolves from outsider to innovator. Ego transforms from cynic to believer. Individual motivations and internal conflicts. Voice performances that match and enhance the visual storytelling, especially Oswalt as Remy and O'Toole as Ego. Bird's direction makes characters emotionally tangible. The subtle movements, facial animations, and timing of each gesture all serve story and personality. Seamless integration of multiple storylines. Bird orchestrates multiple narratives with precision. Remy's artistic ambitions. Linguini's rise and identity conflict. Skinner's corporate schemes. The critique culture embodied by Ego. Family dynamics within the rat colony. These storylines interweave without clutter. Each subplot reinforces the central theme, and Bird ensures no character feels extraneous. Wineglass, the final sequence, a symphony of direction. The final act is a showcase of Bird's vision. The kitchen works like a symphony under Remy's guidance, visually echoing orchestral precision. Ego's first bite of the ratatouille triggers a visual memory, a non-linear narrative flashback, that emotionally disarms him in seconds. Bird directs this moment with perfect restraint and clarity, achieving maximum impact through minimalism. The final voiceover monologue, paired with simple, elegant visuals, closes the film on a contemplative, inspiring note, reinforcing the film's timeless message. Bullseye final verdict. Brad Bird's direction, refined, ambitious, and profound. Brad Bird's direction in Ratatouille is a masterclass in animated filmmaking. He balances spectacle with subtlety, humor with heart, and simplicity with sophistication. His stylistic choices are never superficial. They always serve the story, the character arcs, and the film's emotional truths. Through his vision, what could have been a simple children's comedy about a cooking rat becomes a deeply moving meditation on art, acceptance, and identity. Bird doesn't just tell a story, he curates an experience, and Ratatouille stands as one of the finest examples of auteur-driven animation in cinematic history. Would you like this adapted for your YouTube script or turned into a narrated review format for facts and review? Ratatouille, 2007, cinematography, painting Paris with light, motion, and emotion. Although animated, Ratatouille, 2007, delivers cinematography that rivals the most visually sumptuous live-action films. Under the visual direction of Sharon Callahan, director of photography for lighting, and Robert Anderson, director of photography for layout, the film showcases a stunning blend of cinematic composition, expressive lighting, and dynamic camera movement. It's a visual love letter to Paris, to cuisine, and to the inner world of its characters. The cinematography doesn't merely decorate the narrative, it becomes a silent narrator itself, guiding viewers emotionally and thematically through Remy's journey. Camera angles, a rat's eye view of the world. One of the film's most inventive aspects is how it plays with scale and perspective through camera angles. Low-angle shots are often used from Remy's point of view. Everyday objects, ovens, staircases, humans, tower above him, creating a sense of awe, danger, and adventure. Conversely, when shifting to the human perspective, Remy and other rats are often captured in over-the-shoulder or high-angle shots, emphasizing their vulnerability and how small they are in a human-dominated world. During chase sequences, the camera dips, glides, and swerves along with Remy's agile movement, especially in scenes where he escapes through walls, pipes, and kitchens. The angles simulate a roller coaster-like experience, immersing the audience directly into Remy's environment. By mimicking real-world camera behavior, with simulated rack focus, lens depth, and dolly movement, the film bridges animated fantasy and cinematic realism. Electric light bulb lighting, evoking emotion, time, and taste. Lighting in Ratatouille is not just technically superb, it's deeply expressive. Warm lighting dominates the kitchen and dining areas, casting a golden glow that evokes comfort, sophistication, and passion. It emphasizes the romanticism of cooking and eating, especially when dishes are plated under spotlights. Cooler and shadowed lighting is used in the Suze and Remy's initial hideouts, contrasting the two worlds, the underground animal realm and the glittering human world above. In Gusteau's restaurant, lighting is theatrical. Individual dishes are lit like center stage, celebrating food as art. A standout moment of lighting comes when Anton Ego tastes the ratatouille. As is transported back to his childhood, the lighting softens dramatically. The background blurs. His face is lit in a gentle glow, and all else fades into memory. It's an emotional painting in motion. Sharon Callahan and her team designed lighting to mirror emotional states, transitioning from dramatic shadows during conflict to soft glows in moments of joy or introspection. Film framing and composition, telling stories within the frame. Each shot in Ratatouille is thoughtfully composed to serve both narrative and emotional goals. Framing often isolates Remy when he feels misunderstood or trapped, surrounded by large, sterile kitchens or dark alleyways. It visually underscores his internal loneliness. Tight framing is used to capture Remy's curiosity and concentration, especially when he's sniffing ingredients, sneaking through walls, or navigating tight spaces. When Remy and Linguini work together in the kitchen, the composition shifts to more balanced two shots, symbolizing their emerging partnership. In contrast, when Linguini begins to reject Remy, the framing separates them again, emphasizing conflict and emotional distance. The framing of Ego's office is especially brilliant. The room is shaped like a coffin, foreshadowing Ego's metaphorical death as a critic and rebirth as someone rediscovering joy. Framing also emphasizes verticality. Remy climbs, jumps, and explores levels in Paris that humans rarely notice. This vertical movement contributes to the theme of rising above expectations and limits. Cityscape at dusk visual atmosphere, Paris as a living canvas. The cinematography elevates Paris from a backdrop into a central emotional and thematic element. Early morning scenes feature soft, rose-gold hues bathing the rooftops, evoking promise and wonder. Rain scenes are rendered with hyperrealistic water droplets and reflective surfaces, enhancing tension and dramatic mood. The Eiffel Tower, bridges, and alleyways are often backlit or silhouetted, turning mundane cityscapes into storybook illustrations. Every frame is infused with the atmosphere of dreamlike realism, portraying Paris as both the city of food and the city of dreams. Performing arts creating tension and emotional rhythm. The cinematography masterfully enhances tension and emotion. In chase scenes, fast camera pans, shaky framing, and quick zooms simulate danger and chaos, even in a controlled animated environment. During Remy's more emotional moments, like when he's torn between his family and his dream, the camera lingers longer, slows its motion, and centers Remy within vast, empty spaces to convey emotional isolation. The film often uses light and shadow interplay to create tension, especially in scenes with Skinner or when Remy is nearly caught. The shadows create suspense while keeping the visual style elegant. Wineglass visually striking moments, highlights of cinematic brilliance. Some key visually arresting moments include Remy's lightning flash scene as he navigates a storm-drained river, tossed between light and shadow, symbolizing his inner and outer turmoil. The scene where Remy first sees Paris from a rooftop. The camera slowly zooms out to reveal the glowing cityscape, a moment of awe and ambition. Gusteau's kitchen from Remy's perspective, with its fiery pans, swinging doors, and moving staff, is orchestrated like a chaotic symphony, beautifully composed with rich lighting and swift framing. The taste visualization sequences, where color, shape, and music visually depict Remy's sensory experiences. These abstract moments use cinematography to express what can't be seen, taste itself. Bullseye final thoughts, a cinematographic feat in animation. Though crafted digitally, the cinematography of Ratatouille feels thoroughly cinematic. Every shot is intentional, poetic, and thematically driven. Sharon Callahan and Brad Bird's collaboration results in a film that uses visual storytelling not just to support the narrative, but to elevate it. From simulating handheld shots and dolly zooms to painting Paris in light and shadow, Ratatouille's cinematography is a triumph. It's a reminder that animation, when treated with the artistry of live-action cinematography, can evoke wonder, tension, and beauty on an unmatched level. Would you like this broken into voiceover-friendly sections for your facts and review video, or expanded into a visual scene-by-scene breakdown? Ratatouille, 2007, direction by Brad Bird, a masterclass in animated storytelling. Brad Bird, already celebrated for his work on The Iron Giant and The Incredibles, brought a distinct narrative elegance and cinematic sophistication to Ratatouille, 2007, a film that, under lesser direction, could have remained a quirky tale about a cooking rat. Instead, Bird elevated it into a nuanced, emotionally resonant, and visually poetic cinematic experience, blending slapstick with subtle philosophy and spectacle with intimacy. His direction is both technically masterful and thematically rich, shaping Ratatouille into one of Pixar's most refined works. Performing arts tone and mood, whimsy anchored in emotional realism. Brad Bird balances the fantastical premise of a rat who cooks with a grounded, human emotional tone. This tonal harmony is one of the film's greatest achievements. The mood is whimsical without ever being juvenile. Bird crafts a Paris that feels romantic, magical, yet lived in, avoiding fairy tale cliches. Moments of introspection and vulnerability, like Remy's monologues with Gusteau's ghost or Ego's emotional awakening, are handled with sensitivity, allowing the story to breathe and reflect. At the same time, kinetic chase scenes and comic kitchen chaos inject energy, ensuring the film remains brisk and accessible for younger audiences. Bird's control of tone ensures that the film never veers into sentimentality or slapstick excess. The film feels smart and universal, speaking to both children and adults with visual storytelling and stylistic choices. Place-setting Paris as a character. Brad Bird, alongside production designer Harley Jessup and cinematographer Sharon Callahan, renders Paris with dreamlike beauty and textural depth. Rain-drenched rooftops, warm kitchen interiors, and golden twilight skies make the city feel like a painting, but always authentically alive. The camera often moves with fluid grace, capturing the majesty of food, the scale of the city, and the intimacy of personal moments. Film cinematic techniques in animation. Bird brings live-action sensibility into animated filmmaking. Low-angle shots give Remy's world scale, making simple journeys across the floor feel epic. Depth of field is used creatively to focus attention, such as blurring humans while highlighting the rats' reactions. The editing rhythm adapts based on the scene, tight and frantic during kitchen sequences, loose and lyrical during reflective moments. POV shots from Remy's perspective immerse viewers in his world, helping them empathize with an otherwise implausible protagonist. These choices underscore Bird's belief that animation is not a genre, but a medium capable of artistic subtlety on par with live-action film. Stopwatch pacing, elegance in narrative momentum. The film's pacing is a triumph of balance. It begins with quiet wonder and discovery, following Remy's journey from the countryside to Paris. As Remy and Linguini's partnership grows, the narrative tempo quickens, especially in the kitchen scenes, which are orchestrated with balletic precision. Just when the story threatens to become formulaic, Bird injects emotional and narrative twists. Linguini's identity crisis, the father-son tension, Ego's review, all of which deepen the plot without slowing it down. Each act ends with a natural emotional crescendo, and the final third, the climax involving Ego's meal and review, feels earned, profound, and deeply satisfying. Thematic direction. Anyone can cook as philosophical core. Brad Bird infuses the story with philosophical undertones. The idea that greatness can come from anywhere is portrayed not as a slogan but as a narrative thesis, constantly tested by character and conflict. Bird avoids heavy-handed delivery. Instead, through Remy's struggle, Linguini's insecurity, Colette's skepticism, and Ego's transformation, the film explores class, creativity, elitism, and self-worth in a subtle, emotionally grounded way. Bird treats the audience as intelligent, allowing them to engage with the themes without oversimplification or spoon-feeding. Family Man Boy Boy character-driven direction. Brad Bird's strength lies in directing character-driven animation. He ensures that each character has a clear arc, e.g., Remy evolves from outsider to innovator, Ego transforms from cynic to believer. Individual motivations and internal conflicts. Voice performances that match and enhance the visual storytelling, especially Oswalt as Remy and O'Toole as Ego. Bird's direction makes characters emotionally tangible. The subtle movements, facial animations, and timing of each gesture all serve story and personality. Seamless integration of multiple storylines. Bird orchestrates multiple narratives with precision. Remy's artistic ambitions. Linguini's rise and identity conflict. Skinner's corporate schemes. The critique culture embodied by Ego. Family dynamics within the rat colony. These storylines interweave without clutter. Each subplot reinforces the central theme, and Bird ensures no character feels extraneous. Wineglass, the final sequence, a symphony of direction. The final act is a showcase of Bird's vision. The kitchen works like a symphony under Remy's guidance, visually echoing orchestral precision. Ego's first bite of the ratatouille triggers a visual memory, a non-linear narrative flashback, that emotionally disarms him in seconds. Bird directs this moment with perfect restraint and clarity, achieving maximum impact through minimalism. The final voiceover monologue, paired with simple, elegant visuals, closes the film on a contemplative, inspiring note, reinforcing the film's timeless message. Bullseye final verdict. Brad Bird's direction, refined, ambitious, and profound. Brad Bird's direction in Ratatouille is a masterclass in animated filmmaking. He balances spectacle with subtlety, humor with heart, and simplicity with sophistication. His stylistic choices are never superficial. They always serve the story, the character arcs, and the film's emotional truths. Through his vision, what could have been a simple children's comedy about a cooking rat becomes a deeply moving meditation on art, acceptance, and identity. Bird doesn't just tell a story, he curates an experience, and Ratatouille stands as one of the finest examples of auteur-driven animation in cinematic history. Would you like this adapted for your YouTube script or turned into a narrated review format for facts and review? You said. Ratatouille 2007 cinematography. How do camera angles, lighting, and framing contribute to the storytelling? Are there visually striking moments that stand out? Does the cinematography create atmosphere, tension, or beauty in key scenes? Explain from third-person perspective. Discuss in great detail. ChatGPT said. Absolutely. Here's a detailed, third-person analysis of the cinematography in Ratatouille 2007, highlighting how camera angles, lighting, framing, and visual composition enhance storytelling, emotion, and tone. Movie camera Ratatouille 2007, cinematography, painting Paris with light, motion, and emotion. Although animated, Ratatouille 2007 delivers cinematography that rivals the most visually sumptuous live-action films. Under the visual direction of Sharon Callahan, Director of Photography for Lighting, and Robert Anderson, Director of Photography for Layout, the film showcases a stunning blend of cinematic composition, expressive lighting, and dynamic camera movement. It's a visual love letter to Paris, to cuisine, and to the inner world of its characters. The cinematography doesn't merely decorate the narrative, it becomes a silent narrator itself, guiding viewers emotionally and thematically through Remy's journey. Camera angles, a rat's eye view of the world. One of the film's most inventive aspects is how it plays with scale and perspective through camera angles. Low-angle shots are often used from Remy's point of view. Everyday objects, ovens, staircases, humans, tower above him, creating a sense of awe, danger, and adventure. Conversely, when shifting to the human perspective, Remy and other rats are often captured in over-the-shoulder or high-angle shots, emphasizing their vulnerability and how small they are in a human-dominated world. During chase sequences, the camera dips, glides, and swerves along with Remy's agile movement, especially in scenes where he escapes through walls, pipes, and kitchens. The angles simulate a roller coaster-like experience, immersing the audience directly into Remy's environment. By mimicking real-world camera behavior, with simulated rack focus, lens depth, and dolly movement, the film bridges animated fantasy and cinematic realism. Electric light bulb lighting, evoking emotion, time, and taste. Lighting in Ratatouille is not just technically superb, it's deeply expressive. Warm lighting dominates the kitchen and dining areas, casting a golden glow that evokes comfort, sophistication, and passion. It emphasizes the romanticism of cooking and eating, especially when dishes are plated under spotlights. Cooler and shadowed lighting is used in the Suze and Remy's initial hideouts, contrasting the two worlds, the underground animal realm and the glittering human world above. In Gusteau's restaurant, lighting is theatrical. Individual dishes are lit like center stage, celebrating food as art. A standout moment of lighting comes when Anton ego tastes the ratatouille. As he's transported back to his childhood, the lighting softens dramatically. The background blurs. His face is lit in a gentle glow, and all else fades into memory. It's an emotional painting in motion. Sharon Callahan and her team designed lighting to mirror emotional states, transitioning from dramatic shadows during conflict to soft glows in moments of joy or introspection. Film framing and composition, telling stories within the frame. Each shot in Ratatouille is thoughtfully composed to serve both narrative and emotional goals. Framing often isolates Remy when he feels misunderstood or trapped, surrounded by large, sterile kitchens or dark alleyways. It visually underscores his internal loneliness. Tight framing is used to capture Remy's curiosity and concentration, especially when he's sniffing ingredients, sneaking through walls, or navigating tight spaces. When Remy and Linguini work together in the kitchen, the composition shifts to more balanced two shots, symbolizing their emerging partnership. In contrast, when Linguini begins to reject Remy, the framing separates them again, emphasizing conflict and emotional distance. The framing of Ego's office is especially brilliant. The room is shaped like a coffin, foreshadowing Ego's metaphorical death as a critic and rebirth as someone rediscovering joy. Framing also emphasizes verticality. Remy climbs, jumps, and explores levels in Paris that humans rarely notice. This vertical movement contributes to the theme of rising above expectations and limits. Cityscape at dusk visual atmosphere, Paris as a living canvas. The cinematography elevates Paris from a backdrop into a central emotional and thematic element. Early morning scenes feature soft, rose-gold hues bathing the rooftops, evoking promise and wonder. Rain scenes are rendered with hyper-realistic water droplets and reflective surfaces, enhancing tension and dramatic mood. The Eiffel Tower, bridges, and alleyways are often backlit or silhouetted, turning mundane cityscapes into storybook illustrations. Every frame is infused with the atmosphere of dreamlike realism, portraying Paris as both the city of food and the city of dreams. Performing arts creating tension and emotional rhythm. The cinematography masterfully enhances tension and emotion. In chase scenes, fast camera pans, shaky framing, and quick zooms simulate danger and chaos, even in a controlled animated environment. During Remy's more emotional moments, like when he's torn between his family and his dream, the camera lingers longer, slows its motion, and centers Remy within vast, empty spaces to convey emotional isolation. The film often uses light and shadow interplay to create tension, especially in scenes with Skinner or when Remy is nearly caught. The shadows create suspense while keeping the visual style elegant. Wineglass visually striking moments, highlights of cinematic brilliance. Some key visually arresting moments include Remy's lightning flash scene as he navigates a storm-drained river, tossed between light and shadow, symbolizing his inner and outer turmoil. The scene where Remy first sees Paris from a rooftop. The camera slowly zooms out to reveal the glowing cityscape, a moment of awe and ambition. Gusteau's kitchen from Remy's perspective, with its fiery pans, swinging doors, and moving staff, is orchestrated like a chaotic symphony, beautifully composed with rich lighting and swift framing. The taste visualization sequences, where color, shape, and music visually depict Remy's sensory experiences. These abstract moments use cinematography to express what can't be seen, taste itself. Bullseye final thoughts, a cinematographic feat in animation. Though crafted digitally, the cinematography of Ratatouille feels thoroughly cinematic. Every shot is intentional, poetic, and thematically driven. Sharon Callahan and Brad Bird's collaboration results in a film that uses visual storytelling not just to support the narrative, but to elevate it. From simulating handheld shots and dolly zooms to painting Paris in light and shadow, Ratatouille's cinematography is a triumph. It's a reminder that animation, when treated with the artistry of live-action cinematography, can evoke wonder, tension, and beauty on an unmatched level. Ratatouille, 2007, Editing and Pacing, a recipe for perfect narrative rhythm. In Ratatouille, editing plays an essential, if often invisible, role in crafting a smooth, emotionally resonant, and narratively rich experience. Though it's an animated film, it adheres to classic cinematic editing principles, using rhythmic timing, emotional beats, visual continuity, and tonal balance to bring Remy's story to life. The result is a film that feels deliberate yet dynamic, moving effortlessly between action, comedy, introspection, and visual wonder, all thanks to the work of editor Darren T. Holmes. Clapperboard narrative flow and structural cohesion. From its opening prologue to the reflective resolution, Ratatouille is structured with remarkable precision. The film follows a 3-act structure, but the transitions between acts are so fluidly edited that the story feels like a continuous, seamless journey. The opening segment, introducing Remy, his family, his love for food, and their expulsion from the countryside, flows briskly. Each cut moves us forward in the narrative while building character and world. The transition into Paris is handled with elegant pacing. Remy's awe as he looks over the cityscape is allowed time to breathe, with longer takes and slower editing creating emotional impact. The middle act, which includes Remy's introduction to Linguini, the restaurant staff, and the kitchen routines, features quick, snappy editing that mirrors the hustle and energy of a real kitchen. The rhythm here is fast but never chaotic, balancing plot development with comic timing. The final act, including Ego's visit and the climactic dinner service, builds with a natural. The film's temporal structure is linear, without flashbacks or non-linear diversions. This conventional storytelling style is complemented by smart, strategic cuts that give the illusion of real-time flow, particularly during cooking sequences and chases. Performing arts emotional timing, knowing when to cut and when to linger. One of the hallmarks of excellent editing is understanding when to speed up and when to pause. Ratatouille excels in this domain. In action scenes, such as Remy's escapes or the chaotic kitchen sequences, the editing is fast and kinetic. However, even these scenes never lose clarity. Every shot is framed and timed to ensure spatial awareness and character continuity. In contrast, emotional moments, like Remy watching Gusteau's show, or confronting his father, or the final scene where Ego writes his review, are given longer takes and more subdued pacing. The editor allows space for the emotional beats to land, enhancing resonance. The sequence where Anton Ego tastes the ratatouille is a masterclass in timing. The pacing slows, the camera lingers on his expression, and then, in a single cut, the film flashes back to his childhood. The edit is both emotionally jarring and beautifully graceful, showing how a well-placed cut can deliver an emotional gut punch. Stopwatch # rhythmic control, balancing comedy, drama, and action. The film's tone varies between humor, drama, and quiet introspection, and the editing rhythm expertly accommodates all. Comedy is served with timing. For instance, when Linguini discovers Remy can cook, the quick-cut reactions, frantic dialogue delivery, and slapstick gags are supported by rapid-fire editing that enhances laughs. Dramatic scenes, like the confrontation between Remy and his father or the tension between Linguini and the kitchen staff, are given more time. The pacing slows to allow dialogue and facial expressions to drive the emotion. Cooking sequences are almost musical in their rhythm. Chopping, sautéing, stirring. These actions are edited like dance choreography, with rhythmic cutting that mirrors the flow of a symphony. This varied but balanced pacing keeps the audience engaged throughout. There's no scene that feels like filler, and no beat that lingers too long. Visual continuity and spatial clarity. Animation often demands tighter control over continuity and spatial coherence, and Ratatouille delivers this with exceptional precision. During fast-moving scenes, like Remy running through the restaurant or Linguini fumbling in the kitchen, the editing maintains clear geography. Each cut respects directionality and screen position, making even chaotic sequences easy to follow. The transitions between scenes are often motivated by movement or sound. For example, a swoop of Remy's tail may lead into a wipe transition, or the sound of a kitchen bell might trigger a cut to a new time of day. These clever transitions maintain a fluid, almost musical visual rhythm. Scene-to-scene transitions are smooth and thematic. For instance, a moment of triumph might cut directly to a new challenge or conflict, reinforcing the narrative stakes and character progression without awkward gaps. Bullseye pacing impact, sustaining engagement across age groups. One of the subtle triumphs of Ratatouille's editing and pacing is how it manages to entertain both children and adults. Kids stay engaged thanks to the fast, energetic pacing and visual humor. Adults remain invested due to the emotional pauses, thematic depth, and elegantly structured narrative. The film neither rushes nor drags. Each sequence builds upon the last, leading to a climax that feels earned, both narratively and emotionally. Checkered flag conclusion, editing that cooks with precision. In the end, Ratatouille benefits immensely from precise, purposeful editing. Darren T. Holmes and the Pixar editorial team shaped the film's story like a master chef plates a gourmet dish, with control, care, and attention to every detail. From the dynamic tempo of the kitchen scenes to the quiet, emotional resonance of personal moments, the editing guides the viewer through Remy's journey with seamless grace. The film's pacing ensures that no moment overstays its welcome, and every cut serves the dual function of narrative clarity and emotional impact. Ratatouille proves that editing in animation can be just as powerful, if not more so, than in live-action cinema. It keeps the audience captivated, amused, and ultimately moved, all without drawing attention to itself. That's the mark of truly great editing. Ratatouille, 2007, a soundtrack and score, a flavorful symphony of emotion and culture. In Ratatouille, music plays a central role in building the film's romantic, whimsical, and heartfelt tone. Scored by the Oscar-winning composer Michael Giacchino, the soundtrack is an essential ingredient in the movie's emotional recipe, elevating everything from Remy's quiet introspection to the bustling chaos of the Parisian kitchen. Giacchino's score doesn't just accompany the visuals, it enriches the characters, deepens the themes, and amplifies the cinematic experience. Musical score: a French-flavored musical palate. Giacchino crafts a soundtrack that radiates French charm and culinary elegance. From the very first notes, the music immerses the audience in the spirit of Paris. Accordions, gypsy guitars, strings, piano, and woodwinds dominate the instrumental landscape, evoking a distinctly French ambience without ever becoming cliched or overbearing. The music blends traditional French motifs with modern orchestral arrangements, creating a sonic world that feels both timeless and fresh, just like the film's central message about tradition versus innovation. The use of Parisian-style instrumentation enhances the setting in a way that dialogue or visuals alone could not. Whether Remy is scampering across the rooftops or savoring the taste of a perfectly cooked mushroom, the music makes the experience more vivid and transportive. Multiple musical notes, key themes, and recurring motifs. The score features several recurring musical themes that evolve throughout the film, each tied to a character, emotion, or narrative arc. 1. Remy's theme, curious and aspirational. A light, inquisitive melody that mirrors Remy's curious nature and his dreams of becoming a chef. This theme recurs in different forms, sometimes playful, sometimes emotional, reflecting his internal journey. As Remy grows more confident, the music matures with him. The instrumentation becomes richer, suggesting the expansion of his world and ambitions. 2. Le Festin, the soul of the film. His journey reflects the universal struggle of staying true to oneself in the face of external pressure. He is an outsider in both worlds, not fully accepted by humans or rats, yet refuses to give up his passion. Linguini, too, undergoes a similar journey. Lacking talent but having the willingness to learn, he slowly gains confidence, largely through his partnership with Remy. Together, their arc underlines the idea that self-expression is vital, and that it often requires courage, compromise, and creativity. Frying pan with egg 3. Art, creativity, and passion. Ratatouille is also a love letter to art and the creative process. It portrays cooking not as a mechanical skill, but as a deeply personal and emotional experience, one that requires passion, imagination, and risk-taking. Remy's scenes of tasting food, visualized as bursts of color and music, express the emotional power of culinary art. The film argues that creativity isn't confined to a profession or tradition. It's a form of personal freedom and human, or animal, expression. Moreover, it shows that true art defies boundaries. A rat becoming a master chef might seem ridiculous, but the film invites audiences to consider how innovation often comes from unlikely sources, a key message for anyone pursuing creative work. Top Hat 4. Class, hierarchy, and social barriers. Beneath the fantasy, the film subtly explores issues of class and social structure. Remy is literally born in the gutters, while the world he dreams of belongs to elite Parisian society. The kitchen of Gusteau's is hierarchical, with rigid rules and snobbery, where creativity is often stifled by routine. Remy's entry into this world not only challenges species boundaries but also upends traditional power dynamics. A rat telling humans how to cook reverses the expected order. Through these dynamics, the film critiques systems that discourage innovation based on background or status, making a case for diversity and inclusion in creative spaces. Speech Balloon 5. Judgment versus understanding. A recurring message in Ratatouille is that quick judgment often leads to misunderstanding, and that true appreciation requires openness and empathy. Anton ego starts as the ultimate critic, rigid, elitist, and dismissive. But by the end, he delivers one of the film's most powerful monologues, recognizing the importance of new perspectives and unexpected talent. This evolution embodies the film's moral growth, learning to value sincerity over status, heart over perfection, and experience over expectation. It's a reminder to reconsider how we evaluate others, especially those who don't fit traditional molds or expectations. Rat 6. Family, loyalty, and individuality. Remy's relationship with his father and Rat Clan adds another emotional dimension. While his family values survival and loyalty, Remy dreams of something more, creating a classic conflict between collective belonging and personal dreams. The film respects both sides. Remy ultimately finds a way to bridge his passion with his responsibility, showing that true growth includes honoring where you come from while still pursuing your path. This nuanced portrayal of family dynamics encourages viewers to consider how love and support can exist even when paths diverge. Memo 7. Humility and growth. Lastly, Ratatouille emphasizes that greatness requires humility. Even Remy, as talented as he is, makes mistakes and must learn to trust and collaborate. Linguini's growth, too, is driven not by ego, but by acknowledging his limitations and building genuine relationships. Anton Ego's monologue underlines this theme beautifully, that the role of critics and audiences is not just to judge, but to nurture and support creativity wherever it is found. Wedge of Cheese Final Thoughts. A film that nourishes the mind and heart. Ratatouille may be a film about a rat, but it is also about humanity at its finest. Our need to create, to be seen, to take risks, and to break through the boundaries imposed by others or ourselves. Its themes are universal, its messages profound, and its delivery remarkably subtle. Rather than preaching or forcing its ideas, the film weaves its messages organically into its characters, narrative, and humor. As a result, viewers of all ages walk away not only entertained but also inspired to dream, to create, and to believe in themselves. Ratatouille, 2007, a visual effects and CGI, a feast for the eyes. Pixar's Ratatouille, released in 2007, stands as a groundbreaking achievement in computer-generated animation, blending hyperrealistic visuals with stylized charm to create an immersive and emotionally rich cinematic experience. While many animated films use visual effects as mere spectacle, Ratatouille integrates its digital artistry with narrative purpose, thematic subtlety, and character development. Every detail, from the damp source of Paris to the intricate textures of food, serves the storytelling rather than overshadowing it. Pot of Food 1. Immersive world-building through CGI. The film constructs two parallel worlds, the rat world and the human culinary world, both brought to life through stunning CGI. The attention to detail in each setting is meticulous. The sewers and underground rat colony are rendered with damp textures, muted colors, and organic movements that evoke both the danger and coziness of their hidden world. In contrast, the kitchen at Gusteau's is bathed in rich golden light, polished steel, and warm wooden tones, an environment that feels both elegant and intimidating. Everything from stove tops to ladles gleams with photorealistic texture. The seamless transitions between Remy's tiny rat-sized point of view and the larger human world are executed brilliantly. Camera angles, lighting, and digital scaling contribute to the illusion of size, drawing the audience into Remy's perspective and reinforcing the theme of an outsider trying to navigate a world not built for him. Mouseface 2. Lifelike character animation and expressions. One of Ratatouille's most impressive technical achievements lies in its character animation, especially with Remy and his fellow rodents. Despite the challenge of anthropomorphing rats without losing their animal essence, Pixar achieves a perfect balance. Remy's fur responds to wind, water, and heat in realistic ways, thanks to Pixar's advanced hair simulation system developed specifically for this film. Over 1,150,000 individual strands of fur were animated on Remy alone. His body language, sniffing habits, ear twitches, and movements are rooted in real rat behavior, yet emotionally expressive enough to convey nuanced thoughts and feelings. Human characters, though stylized, are animated with exaggerated yet believable physicality. The slapstick in Linguini's chaotic movements contrasts with the graceful precision of Colette, reinforcing character traits visually without needing words. This mix of cartoon stylization and realistic physics ensures that the CGI never becomes uncanny or distracting. It enhances empathy and comedy simultaneously. Fire 3. Food as art, visual effects that engage the senses. One of the most remarkable aspects of Ratatouille is how it uses visual effects to make food look and feel real. The depiction of ingredients being chopped, sautéed, blended, and plated is nothing short of mesmerizing. Pixar's animators reportedly studied fine dining cuisine, worked with real chefs, and filmed cooking in high-speed photography to understand how food behaves under different conditions. Steam, smoke, bubbling sauces, and glistening oils are rendered with startling realism, helping the audience practically smell and taste what they are seeing. When Remy imagines flavor combinations, the visual language turns abstract, with colors, shapes, and music merging to represent taste sensations. These synesthetic sequences are not only beautiful but emotionally resonant, showing how Remy experiences food as a true artist. The realism in food visuals is arguably some of the best ever achieved in animation up to that point, rivaling live action in believability. Clapperboard 4. Smooth integration with narrative. What sets Ratatouille apart is how subtle and invisible the visual effects are. Instead of drawing attention to themselves, they serve the pacing and story. During high-stakes kitchen sequences, like the final service night, the effects are used to build urgency and chaos, with plates flying, flames roaring, and ingredients flying through the air. The editing and CGI merge seamlessly to keep viewers engaged. When Remy is separated from his family or exploring Paris rooftops, the CGI lighting and atmosphere shift, moonlight glows, rain falls gently, and the Eiffel Tower gleams, heightening emotional tone without overwhelming the scene. The visual effects here are a tool of storytelling, never a distraction. The world feels not just animated, but alive. 5. Practical versus digital execution. Though Ratatouille is a fully CGI film, it simulates the texture and weight of practical, physical objects. Metal clinks with weight, water flows with real-world viscosity, and fabric reacts believably to movement. The combination of physical-based rendering, PBR, with Pixar's proprietary software creates the illusion that everything on screen has tactile presence. Because the entire film is digitally constructed, there's no practical effects to directly compare. However, the goal was always realism with personality, and in that, the film succeeds brilliantly. Electric Light Bulb 6. Legacy and Technological Impact. At the time of its release, Ratatouille raised the bar for what animated visual effects could achieve. It was hailed for its innovative use of simulation effects, including hair, steam, and liquids. Pixar's in-house tool MENV, modeling environment, allowed animators to blend physics-based realism with expressive character movement, a technology later refined in future films like Brave and Inside Out. The film's visual restraint, avoiding showy effects for their own sake, is a hallmark of director Brad Bird's style. Everything on screen is deliberate and designed to serve the character journey, which is why the effects hold up remarkably well even today. Bullseye Final Thoughts, a masterclass in CGI storytelling. In Ratatouille, visual effects are not about flash or dazzle. They are a deeply integrated element of the film's emotional storytelling, visual metaphors, and world building. From the shimmer of a butter sauce to the twitch of a rat's whiskers, every pixel is crafted with intent and care. The result is a visually sumptuous film that doesn't just look good, it feels right. It invites viewers to step into a world that is magical, believable, and emotionally resonant, proving that digital animation, when done with this level of artistry, can rival any live-action spectacle in depth and impact. Ratatouille, 2007. Set design and locations. Paris through a Pixar lens. In Ratatouille, 2007, Pixar delivers more than just a charming story about a rat with a dream. It crafts an aesthetically rich, narratively essential world that transports audiences into the heart of Paris and the inner workings of a fine dining kitchen. The set design and digital locations in the film do far more than provide a backdrop. They function as an integral part of the storytelling, deepening character arcs, enhancing tone, and contributing to the film's emotional resonance. Tokyo Tower 1. Paris as a character, romantic, real, and stylized. Paris is not just a setting in Ratatouille. It is a living, breathing character in the film. From the very first wide shot of the cityscape, with the shimmering Seine River and the glowing Eiffel Tower, Pixar's version of Paris is stylized yet authentic. Inspired by extensive research trips to the French capital, the animators recreated cobblestone streets, quaint alleyways, and picturesque rooftops, evoking the classic romanticism of the city. Historical architecture and Art Nouveau interiors, paying homage to Paris's rich cultural heritage. A moody color palette that shifts with Remy's journey, from bright daytime vibrancy to the cooler, more muted tones of night, reflecting changes in mood and story beats. These environments aren't just pretty. They are designed to heighten Remy's emotional journey, visually reinforcing his feelings of wonder, isolation, and determination. Frying pan with egg 2. Gusteau's Kitchen, a masterclass in production design. The heart of the film, Gusteau's restaurant kitchen, is a triumph of digital set design. Its layout reflects the precision and pressure of haute cuisine. Functional realism, every station, stove, and storage unit has a clear purpose. Pixar consulted real chefs and culinary professionals to ensure accurate kitchen geography, making it one of the most convincing depictions of a restaurant kitchen in animation. Visual storytelling. The kitchen is not static, it evolves with the narrative. In early scenes, it's depicted as a chaotic, intimidating space for Linguini. But as Remy begins to influence things, the mise-en-scene reflects greater harmony, movement, and order. Prop richness. The kitchen is filled with visually distinct props, sizzling pans, prep counters, ladles, knives, herbs, and produce, all meticulously designed and placed to reflect both functionality and atmosphere. These items add texture, realism, and dynamism to every scene. The contrast between the sterile professionalism of the kitchen and the cluttered chaos of the rat's world heightens the tension and highlights the incredible feat of a rat succeeding in such a precise environment. Mouseface 3. The rat's underground world. Grit meets ingenuity. Equally compelling is the design of Remy's original environment, a subterranean world beneath the human city. It's depicted in earth tones and dim lighting, filled with damp stone walls, rusty pipes, and narrow tunnels. But it's not just bleak. There's creative use of found objects, from bottle caps used as furniture to garbage repurposed as tools, underscoring the rat's resourcefulness. The contrast between their world and the human's kitchen reinforces Remy's inner conflict. He is torn between two worlds that are beautifully, yet starkly, rendered. The rat colony eventually relocates to a new hidden location near the restaurant, complete with a cozy, cleverly built rat bistro, designed as a whimsical nod to Remy's dual identity as both rodent and chef. This location is packed with clever miniature architecture and adds a fantastical charm that balances the otherwise realistic tone. House 4. Other memorable locations. Several other locations add significant depth and variety to the film's setting. Linguini's apartment, cluttered, small, and slightly depressing. This space visually communicates Linguini's insecurity and lack of direction. When Remy later transforms it into a working kitchen, it becomes a symbol of hope and teamwork. Paris rooftops. These are among the most visually striking settings in the film. The rooftops serve as a metaphor for Remy's freedom and imagination. The soft glow of city lights and the panoramic skyline underscore key emotional turning points, especially when Remy dreams of becoming more than what he was born into. Gusteau's dining room. This location exudes luxury and elegance. From chandeliers and velvet chairs to the golden lighting, it conveys the pressure and prestige of fine dining. The design also reflects class divides. While Remy cooks in the shadows, the elite enjoy his creations without knowing the source. Artist Palette 5. Color palette and artistic direction. The color design of each set plays a crucial role in shaping the emotional impact of each scene. Warm golds and browns dominate the kitchen and dining room, creating a feeling of tradition, skill, and craft. Cool blues and grays define the rat colony and sewers, visually representing the darker, grittier side of Remy's world. Soft purples and nighttime blues during rooftop scenes reflect wonder and aspiration, especially in moments of solitude or self-discovery. This intelligent use of color across locations helps distinguish spaces emotionally and thematically without overt exposition. Film projector final thoughts, locations that serve the soul of the story. The set design and digital locations in Ratatouille aren't just beautiful. They are narrative tools, working hand in hand with character arcs, themes, and emotional beats. From the tight corners of a gourmet kitchen to the wide-open skies of Paris, every environment is built to immerse the viewer, express character psychology, and support the storytelling. In short, Ratatouille's production design transforms its settings into something greater than scenery. They become emotional spaces where identity, aspiration, and artistry collide, delivering one of the most thoughtfully constructed animated worlds in cinema history. Ratatouille, 2007, set design and locations, in-depth breakdown. Pixar's Ratatouille is not just a story about a rat who wants to become a chef. It's a love letter to Paris, to the passion of culinary artistry, and to the environments that shape ambition. The film's production design, led by Harley Jessup and art director Michael Warch, plays a crucial narrative role, guiding viewers through emotional highs and lows using spatial storytelling. The locations are rendered with such detail and purpose that they become characters in themselves. Tokyo Tower 1. Paris, an impressionistic and functional cityscape. Pixar's animators conducted research trips to Paris to capture the spirit of the city. Rather than photorealism, the final visual design of Paris is impressionistic, romanticized, and idealized, reflecting Remy's naive wonder and aspirational worldview. Soft evening tones, golden sunsets, foggy mornings. Paris is rendered with a painterly light quality, evoking a sense of magic and timelessness. The Eiffel Tower is frequently framed in compositions, symbolizing ambition, perspective, and elevation, literally and metaphorically. Rooftops in particular are crafted with cinematic elegance, used for chase sequences, introspective scenes, and even moments of bonding. These rooftops reflect freedom, beauty, and escape from the underground life Remy comes from. Unlike many animated films where the setting simply supports the story, in Ratatouille, Paris shapes the narrative's rhythm, mood, and progression. It is both a canvas and a metaphor. #frying pan with egg 2. Gusteau's kitchen, the film's operational heart. The kitchen in Gusteau's restaurant is arguably the most authentic and intricately designed environment in the film. It was modeled after real Michelin-starred restaurant kitchens, with insights from French culinary experts, including Thomas Keller, who consulted on the film. Stations for each specialty, saucier, garde manger, etc., are visible and active. Dynamic props like steaming pots, sizzling pans, and precision tools show constant motion and pressure, emphasizing the urgency of fine dining service. Spatial storytelling. As Remy begins to influence the kitchen, the mise-en scene becomes more symmetrical and harmonious. Chaos gives way to controlled rhythm, mirroring his growing confidence and control. The kitchen's warmth contrasts with the colder, metallic structure of Ego's world later in the film, signifying emotion versus cynicism. The claustrophobic layout also enhances tension during critical sequences, such as when Skinner suspects the rat or when Linguini loses control. It's a set that evolves alongside the characters. Rat 3. The Sewers and Rat Colony, earthy, dim, and resourceful. Remy's home at the beginning is the polar opposite of the bright, elegant kitchen. Located in the Sewers beneath Paris, the rat colony is marked by drab, neutral color schemes, mostly browns, grays, and greenish tones, visually reinforcing a world of confinement and low aspiration. The use of reclaimed human trash as architecture, food containers, cans, wire, highlights the rat's creativity and survival instinct. This area also serves to underline Remy's internal conflict. He belongs here, but he dreams of something far above. Eventually, when Remy relocates his colony near the restaurant, Pixar cleverly constructs a miniature rat kitchen inside a hidden storage area, complete with tiny tools and stations. This space reflects how Remy merges his two worlds, rat and chef, into a new, hybrid identity. Wineglass 4. Dining area of Gusteau's, prestige, elegance, and expectation. The dining room of Gusteau's is a study in contrast to the hustle of the kitchen. Luxurious textures, velvet chairs, rich maroons, golden lighting, and crystal chandeliers. Every design element reflects refinement and exclusivity, increasing the stakes for Remy and Linguini. This space embodies the ideals of perfection that the restaurant aspires to uphold. Camera angles often look upward at patrons, exaggerating their importance, and downward towards staff, emphasizing hierarchy. Notably, this set remains mostly static, unlike the kinetic kitchen, suggesting that change is difficult in the upper echelons of fine dining. Remy must disrupt this rigidity through his cooking and vision. House 5. Linguini's apartment, symbol of growth and bonding. Linguini's apartment is small, cluttered, and quirky, a space that, like him, is full of untapped potential. Key features. Initially presented as a mess, it mirrors Linguini's life, directionless, chaotic, yet open to transformation. After Remy intervenes, it becomes a space of collaboration, reflecting their growing bond. Remy cooks while Linguini bikes or stumbles around, showing their dependency. The roof deck, with a view of Paris, becomes a quiet sanctuary. This is where pivotal emotional beats unfold: bonding, doubt, reflection. The rooftop is as much about escape as it is about hope. Wedge of Cheese 6. Anton Ego's office, minimalism as judgment. One of the most symbolic and visually iconic locations is Anton Ego's office. Shaped like a coffin, with angular architecture, a giant typewriter desk, and a dim gray palette, it conveys death, judgment, and finality. Ego is portrayed as someone who kills reputations with a review. His space is devoid of warmth, personal artifacts, or color, until Remy's meal transports him back to childhood. This sharp visual contrast makes the emotional pivot all the more powerful. The minimalist design also serves as a void waiting to be filled, symbolically fulfilled by the rat's unpretentious dish. Artist Palette 7. Artistic design philosophy. Every space tells a story. Pixar's core philosophy in Ratatouille's design is that every set must have storytelling purpose. Design is used. Shape language, curves for warmth, Remy's world, sharp edges for tension, Ego's office. Color coding, warm tones in emotionally open scenes, cool and neutral tones in scenes of isolation or conflict. Layering of movement, background action, like cooks prepping, traffic outside windows, etc., gives life and realism. Glowing star final reflection, set design as emotional architecture. The brilliance of Ratatouille's set design lies in its emotional architecture. Every location embodies a mental state, a theme, or a narrative challenge. From the tension of a crowded kitchen to the wistful glow of a Parisian rooftop, these spaces are not just visually stunning, they are deeply meaningful. The kitchen equals mastery, pressure, control. The Suz equals limitation, heritage, survival. The rooftops equals freedom, dreams, perspective. Ego's office equals judgment, fear, cold rationalism. Gusteau's dining room equals perfection, expectation, societal divide. By designing environments that are both aesthetic and thematic, Pixar elevates Ratatouille into a multi-layered cinematic experience, where a rat chasing his dream becomes a universal tale of identity, artistry, and courage. Ratatouille, 2007. Dialogue and Script Analysis. The script of Ratatouille, written by Brad Bird, with the story developed by Jan Pinkava and Jim Capobianco, is a masterclass in character-driven storytelling, philosophical nuance, and sharp, emotionally resonant dialogue. It seamlessly blends humor, heart, and high-concept ideas without ever alienating its audience, a testament to Pixar's golden-era writing. Every line in Ratatouille serves a purpose, whether it's to deepen character, advance the plot, deliver a laugh, or underscore the film's core themes of creativity